Kunj Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari. Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Kunja Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Jaya Radha Gopinath Rama Gopinath Radha हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोप कुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये। हरे कृष्ण। Welcome all of you all for today's weekly Gita class. So all of you all can just adjust your chairs so that you all can see me and I can see you all. Yeah. थोड़ा आगे पीछे. Yeah. Eye to eye contact is important to maintain attention. So welcome all of you all for today's Monday Gita class. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic: why to surrender to Krishna. 2 days from now is the most auspicious day of Gita Jayanti. Today is 9 December. 11 December is Mokshada Ekadashi. It's also the day of Gita Jayanti, when Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita 5000 years ago. So Gita has 700 verses, which is considered to be the essence of all Vedic scriptures. Of all the 700 verses, the verse that we are going to discuss today is the most important verse of Bhagavad Gita. So in one sense, it's Krishna's arrangement, Lord Krishna's arrangement, that we have chosen this topic on this occasion of Gita Jayanti. So through this verse, Krishna is inspiring all of us to surrender to Him. So Lord Krishna is that supreme father. Just like a child may leave the father and go away, and the child is not at all thinking about the father, but the father or mother is constantly thinking about the child. So similarly, we have left Krishna and come to this world. We hardly think about Krishna, right? But Krishna in the spiritual world is thinking about all of us, and therefore he comes in this world 5000 years ago and speaks Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is literally the song of God. Krishna is inspiring all of us to go back to Him through the process of surrender. So today's class we will explore this topic of surrender, why to surrender, how to surrender, like that. So this is Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, 66th verse. You all can repeat after me. Sarva dharman parityajya Mamekam sharanam vraja Aham tvam sarva papebhyo Mokshashyami ma sucha Sarva dharman parityajya Mamekam sharanam vraja Aham tvam sarva papebhyo Mokshashyami ma sucha. And last time. Sarva dharman parityajya Mamekam sharanam vraja Aham tvam sarva papebhyo Mokshashyami ma sucha. Lord Krishna is telling here, Sarva dharman parityajya. Parityajya means to give up. Krishna is saying, give up all dharma. We should follow dharma or give up dharma? What do you think we should do? We should follow dharma. But Krishna is telling here to give up dharma. So what we should do? We should listen to Krishna or not? We should listen to Krishna. So we should give up dharma, no? So Krishna, in the Gita, he speaks about so many kinds of dharma. Yeah, so many kinds of yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, like that. But at the end, Bhagavad Gita is a dharmic shastra, dharma shastra. Krishna is inspiring everyone to follow dharma. This entire war of Kurukshetra happened because Krishna wanted to remove the adharmic forces and establish dharma. So now Krishna, in the dharma shastra Bhagavad Gita, he is ending his instruction with Sarva dharman parityajya. Give up all dharma. Why is Krishna saying this?
I think Krishna said that karma is karma. So I think it's my assumption that he's saying you should leave all the karma which is not good for you. You should do the good karmas to follow your.
Yes. Krishna is saying you should give up good karma, bad karma, all karmas. So Krishna speaks about karma and everything, but at the end, he says, Sarva dharman parityajya. Give up all dharma. What does it mean is, Krishna is not telling us to give up dharma, but Krishna is trying to tell us what is the highest dharma. In dharma also there are different levels. The highest dharma is Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. What is the highest dharma? To surrender. Sharanam means surrender. Prapannam, surrender. Sharanam, Prapannam, Sharanagati. These are Sanskrit words used for surrender. Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Krishna is saying, give up all dharma and just surrender to me alone. Mam Ekam means only me. Krishna is saying, give up everything else, surrender only to me. This is the highest dharma. The same mood and the same message is given in Bhagavatam. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adokshaje ahetuki apratiyata yayatma suprasidati. The Bhagavatam, first canto, starts with Shaunakadi Rishi asking 6 questions to Sutta Goswami. One of their questions was, what is the highest duty for people in general? There are different duties. Housewives have their duties, mothers have their duties, students have their duties, everyone has different duties. But what is the highest duty? Sutta Goswami answers, Savai pumsam paro dharmo. Dharma is religion or duty. Paro dharmo is highest religion, highest duty. What is it? Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adokshaje. Bhakti to Krishna, surrendering to Krishna is the highest dharma. So the essence of Gita is this shloka. The conclusive verse of Gita is this shloka. Krishna is speaking Gita to bring all of us to this point of surrender. And then what happens when we surrender to Krishna? Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. If you surrender to Krishna, Krishna will take all the sinful reactions. Mokshashyami. Mokshashyami means Krishna will liberate us. He will take everything, all the sinful reactions. And then Krishna says, Ma suchaha. Ma suchaha means, what does Ma suchaha mean? Ma suchaha means do not fear. Do not fear. So you may say, Krishna, if I give up everything, will you take care of me or not? I'll give up my family, I'll give up everything. And then what happens if Krishna doesn't take care of us? Krishna is saying, do not fear. Abhay Mudra. You understand Abhay Mudra? So Lord Ram, Lord Krishna would use this Abhay Mudra. When all the sages would get very scared, what is going to happen? In the Ramayana, this episode is there. When Vishwamitra Muni comes to Ayodhya, and he takes Ram and Lakshman to the forest to fight with Tataka, Maricha, Subahu. And all the sages are doing this yajna. And suddenly Maricha and Subahu come there and they create such terror. And all the sages are running here and there. That time Lord Ram shows us Abhay Mudra. Ma Suchaha, do not fear. You have surrendered to me, don't fear, I will take care. In the Govardhan Leela, when all the Vrajavasis are so scared, what is going to happen? Will Indra kill us? Krishna says, don't fear. If you go to South India, Kanchipuram, there is a deity of Lord Vishnu, Varadaraj. Very beautiful deity. And in the hand of Varadaraj, in Tamil it is written, Ma Suchaha, 2 words. Do not fear. I am there to protect. So for this, who can surrender? One who has some amount of faith. Only one who has faith in Krishna can surrender. So in today's session, we will explore why we have to surrender. How can we derive that inspiration to surrender to Krishna? So what is surrender? Generally, when we hear this word surrender, it's a little scary word, isn't it? When do we hear this word surrender? Right? Battlefield. Yeah, Hindi films, na? Agree? When you're like checkmated everywhere and someone has a gun on you and he says surrender, then you raise all your hands, remove everything from the pocket and give. Agree? So generally, when the word surrender comes, there is a lot of fear. I remember in my initial days of Krishna consciousness, in my school days when I came, I was hearing ISKCON lectures, and every now and then this shloka is like the most famous shloka for every ISKCON devotee. If on a certain class you don't know what to speak, then you open this shloka, best shloka to speak on, right? So I would keep hearing this word surrender, surrender, surrender. I really didn't understand what this surrender meant. So one day, in those days, Radhanath Swami Maharaj had come to Goa. So I had asked Maharaj, what is this surrender? Everyone is speaking surrender, surrender. And then Maharaj explained to me something very simple. So the point is, surrender brings a certain sense of fear in us. We feel very scared when we hear this word surrender. Therefore, actually, many Sanskrit words cannot have an equivalent English word to it. Like surrender, the word creates fear. But the word sharanam, prapannam, sharanagati has a different connotation. It doesn't create the mood of fear. It creates a mood of shelter. Just like a child takes sharan, he takes shelter or he takes ashray of his mother, father. So that is the mood in which Krishna is asking us to surrender. It's not the boss who is, firing you or telling you, do this, otherwise I'll kick you out, just surrender to me. It's the mood in which Krishna is speaking this shloka is not coming from that place. It is coming from a place of lot of love, affection and concern. So in this world, literally, actually, we don't have a choice. We all anyway surrender. We have to surrender to Krishna or you have to surrender to Maya. The choice is between Krishna and Maya. But to surrender, everyone has to. Everyone has to surrender. The scriptures explain there are many, many energies of that Supreme Lord, but there are three principal energies: spiritual energy, material energy, and marginal energy. So, we living entities, we are the in between marginal energy. The marginal energy in Sanskrit is called Tatastha Shakti. Tata, like you go to an ocean front, you see the shore. You know, the Miramar beach, you see the shore. So the characteristic of the shore is, sometime it will be on land, sometime it will be dry, sometime it will be wet. The water will, during the tides change, the water will come up or the water will go down. It can't be in between. So similarly, as living entities, we are either taking shelter of Krishna or taking shelter of Maya. You may say, I will not surrender to Krishna. That's fine, but you will have to surrender to Maya. So now the question is, who is a better person to surrender to? Is Maya a better personality to surrender to, or is Krishna a better personality to surrender to? That's the point. So many times when the word surrender comes, give up something. Krishna is using the word parityajya, give it up. The problem with all of us is that the difficulty of detaching ourselves is we are so attached to something, even if it is painful, we are not ready to give it up. We are not ready to give it up because we feel that without this we cannot actually survive. The material mind makes us believe that that which is not needed, we feel that this is needed. And we get very attached to it, even if it gives us pain. Right? Even if it gives us pain, we are not ready to give it up. Because we are so attached to things that actually destroy us. So one time, there was an ant. This ant lived on a hill. And this hill was made of salt. All salt everywhere. So this ant was born on this hill of salt and it knew only salt. So every day it would eat only salt. So one day, one ant came to this ant and told this ant, come with me, I will take you to the hill of sugar. So first of all, this ant was not ready to believe because he could just see salt everywhere. But this ant told him, no, there is a hill of sugar, I will take you. So this little ant had faith in this friend and it followed this friend. And this friend took this ant to a hill of sugar. This ant climbed the entire hill of sugar and then it says, you have cheated me. This is also a hill of salt. Why? Because it had come to the hill of sugar, but in its mouth there was a grain of salt. It was not ready to give it up. To taste sugar, if you don't give up the grain of salt, can you taste sugar? How can you taste it? So to actually experience something, you have to give up something. Otherwise, how can you experience? We want to experience something and then we feel that we will give it up. But actually it happens the other way around. When you give up something, then only that experience comes. So you have to have that level of faith, some amount of faith. When you give up something, then only you can experience. So devotees like this ant who come and actually tell us, come to the spiritual life, spiritual world, it's actually blissful. Many times we come to spiritual life, but still we don't experience that bliss, that ananda, that sweetness, because we are very much attached to the past, the regular life that we have. So therefore Krishna is inspiring all of us, please give up that and try to accept something higher in life. So there are three levels of people or three levels of desire. One is a materialistic person, other is a spiritualist, and above the spiritualist is a devotee. A spiritualist is, so materialistic person, like in maths you have axis. You have negative axis, zero and positive axis. Isn't it? So materialist is in the negative axis. A spiritualist who wants to just merge into God, he wants liberation, is on the 0 point. And a devotee is on the positive axis. A materialist, he is inspired by selfishness. A spiritualist, one who is on the 0 point, is inspired by selflessness. But a devotee is inspired by pure love. So in this shloka, Krishna is inspiring us to surrender to him on the platform of pure love. Ultimately, in this world, what inspires us most is actually love, not selfishness, but actually pure love. Like a mother, a mother will take care of the child even in the night, isn't it? The mother will take care of the child even in the night. Even if the child makes the mother keeps her awake full night, the mother is still happy. Why? Because there is love in it. Hare Krishna. I hope it will come next. Submission. Why? Because there is okay. So because there is pure love, you are ready to go to any level. You are ready to even suffer because there is love. So this kind of love is actually what is going to satisfy our hearts. So surrender, we don't do only in extreme situations. But this is what surrender is there in every aspect of life, not only for spiritual life. Like a student, for a student to become successful, a student has to surrender to the process of studies. Right? You have to surrender. You have to give up so many things to become a good student, to crack your exams. You have to sacrifice so much, without which you cannot do it. A patient who wants to get cured has to surrender to the doctor. Isn't it? If the doctor is telling some things and the patient is using his own brains, the disease will not get cured. So there has to be a certain sense of surrender. So just like a student to become successful, he surrenders to a teacher or a coach. A patient to be cured, he surrenders to a doctor. Similarly, in order for us to grow in spiritual life, we have to learn to surrender to Krishna and his representatives, the Guru. We have to learn to surrender because they can educate us like a teacher educates the child, and they can cure us like a doctor cures the patient. So therefore, Krishna is encouraging all of us to accept the process of bhakti like a student studies or a patient takes medicine. So why is Krishna asking us to surrender? So what is the inspiration to surrender to Krishna? So for all of us to take to any path, we need some inspiration, prerna. Like someone may work very hard. What is the inspiration? At the end of the month, I'm going to get a paycheck. A paycheck is your inspiration to work, right? So everyone has certain impetus, certain prerna to do what they do. So in order to surrender to Krishna, we need to understand why we have to surrender, what we will gain if we actually surrender. So the first thing that Krishna already explains in the shloka is, when we surrender to Krishna, Krishna says he will relieve us of all suffering of material existence. This material world, whatever said and done, is quite a difficult place, right? There's a lot of suffering. Something or the other keeps going on. I just met one girl. She was telling me that married 6 months, already issues have started to crop up in her life. So things in this world is, you just don't know what happens when, in this world. So material world, there is unlimited number of suffering. Right? If you have to write a book on your life, how much you can write on all the good things in your life? Short you can write. You want some certificate here or there. But you can write long poems and essays on your suffering. Isn't it? Many people get philosophical when actually they go through suffering in life. They can keep writing and writing and writing. So material life means suffering. Dukhalayam ashashvatam. So if you surrender to Krishna, Krishna will relieve all the suffering of this world. Slowly. We may have to go through something what we have to go through, but we will not be affected so much. Right? We will not be affected so much because we have a certain sense of focus in life, a certain sense of purpose in life. And therefore, you have these scriptures. The example of Parikshit Maharaj, he was cursed that he will die in 7 days. But because he took shelter of Krishna, he was not affected so much. So in all our life, suffering is inevitable. But if we surrender to Krishna, Krishna will actually relieve us. In this world, we will to handle situations. And after this world, we will go to a spiritual world where there is no birth, no old age, no disease, no death. No exams, no bosses, nothing. Okay? Just keep enjoying yourself eternally. So if you surrender to Krishna, the first principle is he relieves us of material existence, suffering. Second, as I told you, if you surrender to Krishna, Krishna promises us that he will take us back to the spiritual world. This is Krishna's promise. In this verse and in so many verses in the Gita, Krishna says, just come to me, just take some steps towards me in the form of bhakti. I will take you to the spiritual world. Right? So this is Krishna's promise to all of us. And when Krishna promises something, definitely he fulfills it. Right? So if we surrender to Krishna, we will go back to that spiritual world, that spiritual sky where there is no more suffering, where we can enjoy eternally with Krishna. This is the second reason why we need to surrender. The third inspiration to surrender to Krishna, this is something that's very important, comes when we understand who Krishna is, the personality of Krishna. So Krishna is not like a master who is going to control us, and abuse us. Krishna is not like that. Krishna is a very, very loving personality. Therefore, when you study Krishna's pastimes, when you hear more about Krishna, who Krishna is, what his qualities are, you will automatically want to surrender to Krishna. In the Bhagavatam, you have this very beautiful shloka which Uddhav ji tells to Vidura. So Uddhav ji tells to Vidura, Krishna is such a great personality, such a great master. Putana, the first demon who goes to kill Krishna, was Putana. So she filled her breast with poison in order to feed Krishna, in order to kill Krishna. But Lord Krishna killed Putana, but gave Putana the position of a mother in the spiritual world. So someone who comes to kill you, you will, though in your dream also, you will keep killing him, you will keep taking revenge. And some people, even if some people are dead and gone, in your mind you want to bring them alive again and again so that you can do something to them. But Krishna, someone who's come to kill him, Krishna has given the position of a mother. Because Krishna is thinking, at least she came to feed me poison, but she came to feed me, mother. So Krishna took that first part. She came to feed me. Krishna gave up that poison. So our devotees explain, on one end you have Ranganath, South India, and you have Jagannath. So if you see both the places, Ranganath, if you have gone to Sri Rangam, Ranganath is sleeping with his eyes closed, and Jagannath's eyes are very big open. So the devotees say, when you do a mistake, Krishna becomes Ranganath, he closes his eyes. And when you do something good in spiritual life, Krishna becomes Jagannath, he opens his eyes wide. In the material world, it is the opposite. In the material world, if you do something wrong, people will become Jagannath, they'll immediately catch it. And you do something right, people will become Ranganath, they'll forget it. But Krishna is not like that. If you do anything good, anything, even the smallest thing, Krishna will never forget. You may forget it, but Krishna will never ever forget it. And Krishna is ready to give anything, even if you show a little surrender to him. Not too much, a little surrender. And if you study Krishna's personalities and qualities, the kind of love Krishna had for Sudama, you bring tears in your eyes. The kind of mood, the kind of love Krishna had for his devotee. The kind of love Krishna had for Arjuna. His devotee Krishna is ready to become a chariot driver for Arjuna. The kind of love Krishna had for the cows of Vrindavan, the gopis, Nanda Maharaj. You study any personality, Krishna goes to any extent to actually give or reciprocate love with the devotees. So in this world, we are all looking for love and affection. But if we surrender to Krishna, we will actually experience that love and affection. In South India, in the Sri Sampradaya, I was speaking about Sri Rangam, Ranganath. This story is from Sri Rangam, Ranganath ji. So we all know that Ramanucharya became the Acharya of Sri Rangam, Sri Sampradaya. After Ramanucharya, the next Acharya was Parashar Bhatta. So one time, Parashar Bhatta sees a very interesting incident. What he sees is, there was one hunter, very cruel hunter. He would kill animals. So there was one rabbit. The hunter was supposed to kill the rabbit. But this rabbit started to move around the legs of the hunter. Matlab, the rabbit was taking shelter of the hunter. Ashray, Sharanagati. So the hunter, his heart became so soft and heart melted. The hunter didn't kill that rabbit because the rabbit surrendered to the hunter. Parashar Bhatt, when he saw this, he had tears in his eyes. So Parashar Bhatt was thinking, if a cruel hunter, he was about to kill the rabbit, but he forgave the rabbit, protected the rabbit because it surrendered to him. Imagine Krishna, whose heart is already so soft and filled with compassion. If you surrender to Krishna, what will Krishna not give you? If Krishna gave Putana the spiritual world when she went to kill him, if you are going to practice bhakti to Krishna, what Krishna will not give you? Krishna will give you everything. So if you study the qualities of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, each of the stories of Krishna will bring you more and more closer and inspired to actually make that choice of surrender to him. So Krishna provides shelter to his devotees. Any devotee who has surrendered to Krishna. In the Ramayana, there is this very famous shloka. Sakrideva prapanno yas tavasmi yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami yet vritam mama. Lord Ram says, please listen. Lord Ram is telling this at Rameshwaram, that point where Vibhishan comes to surrender to Lord Ram, and all the monkeys are discussing, should we take him, not take him, maar diya jaye, chhod diya jaye. So that time Lord Ram says, please hear, anyone who surrenders to me, anyone who says, my dear Lord, I am yours even once, I will give this person eternal protection. And Lord Ram showed it. Vibhishan surrendered to Lord Ram. Ravan tried in so many ways to kill Vibhishan. Lord Ram protected. Arjuna surrendered to Lord Ram. They were tried in so many ways to be killed, but Krishna protected. Krishna is always ready to give shelter to his devotees. Govardhan Leela. Because the Brajavasis surrendered to Krishna, Krishna lifted Govardhan for the Brajavasis. So in this way, if we surrender to Krishna, Krishna will definitely provide shelter. Krishna's shelter never goes in vain. Sometimes the shelter may come in different ways, but Krishna's shelter is there. Right? Krishna will never abandon his devotees. This is Krishna's solemn vow. So, as Krishna explains here, another reason or another inspiration to surrender is, when we surrender to Krishna, Krishna purifies the devotee's heart from sinful reactions. All our hearts are filled with so many wrong desires. When we surrender to Krishna, Krishna will purify our hearts. He will make our heart pure. The pastime in Bhagavatam of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj, you all know the story? 5-year-old boy. He went to the forest. He did bhakti to Krishna, but he didn't do it to get Krishna. He did bhakti to Krishna for what? Because he wanted a kingdom greater than his grandfather. He went to Krishna for material purpose. But Krishna, he purified the heart of Dhruva. By practicing bhakti, surrendering to Krishna, his heart became completely pure. He became like a great and a pure soul. In Srila Prabhupada's life, there was one personality. He saw Prabhupada's picture in the 1970s all over Bombay. And he saw Prabhupada was wearing a golden watch. So he saw it in the picture. And this fellow was a thief. So he decided, let me go to Hare Krishna temple, Juhu, to steal that watch. Again. So many people come to ISKCON temple for different reasons. Right? You just don't know who comes for what. Like you go to Vrindavan, Kartik time, in ISKCON temple, good chance that your mobile pockets will get robbed. Because there are so many people there who come to Vrindavan for different reasons. So this person, he goes to ISKCON Juhu to steal this watch of Srila Prabhupada. But because he goes to Krishna and for some time he tries to imitate the life of a devotee, he becomes pure. And became like a very great disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He just left his body a couple of years ago. Haridas Prabhu. Haridas, he had actually started ISKCON television. Most of the videos of Prabhupada and all these things were actually made by him. Because he surrendered to Krishna, Krishna took that responsibility of purifying the heart. So when we surrender to Krishna, our hearts gradually become pure. Cheto darpana marjana. Krishna wants us to exchange love with all of us. Okay? So, is Prabhupada, a very beautiful point, Prabhupada mentions this. Is Krishna complete or incomplete? Or another way to ask this question is Krishna satisfied or he is hungry? So Prabhupada says both. Because Krishna is the absolute, everything is there in him. He is incomplete also, he is complete also. He is hungry also, he is satisfied also. So Krishna is satisfied, but he is hungry for the love of his devotees. Krishna wants to experience love between all of us. Krishna wants that we all go back to the spiritual world and exchange love with him. And through this, our hearts will actually become completely fulfilled. So when Krishna is telling in this verse that please surrender to me, Krishna wants us to actually make that relationship, make that connection, make that yoga with him. And if we surrender to Krishna, Krishna offers himself to such a devotee. In the 4th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, Ye yatam ma prapadyante tam stataiva bhajameham. If you 100% surrender to Krishna, then what will happen? Krishna will give himself 100% to you. Krishna will become your property. If you 50% surrender to Krishna, Krishna will also be in your life 50%. So when you surrender to Krishna, 100%, Krishna gives himself to such a devotee. Here you can see the gopis in Vrindavan, they had surrendered to Krishna so much, they could control Krishna. The elderly gopis, they would tell Krishna, Krishna dance and show, Krishna would dance. Right? They would actually control Krishna. Arjuna controlled Krishna because he was the chariot driver of Krishna. So Krishna is controlled and he offers himself to his devotee. So if we completely surrender to Krishna, what we will gain is Krishna. If you have Krishna in your life, automatically everything else will follow. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Tatra Partha Dhanodhara Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Moha. If Krishna is in your life, victory, success, wealth, fame, everything will come automatically. Right? So when you surrender to Krishna, he offers himself to all of us. I told you in Kanchipuram, these are the Utsav Vigraha of Varadarajji. So in Kanchipuram, there is this Mula Vigraha, Mula were huge deities, and there is a small deity which is carried around for all the palkis and all the Utsavs. So what does Varadaraj mean? Varadaraj, one of the names of Lord Krishna, is the king who can give all benedictions and fulfill desires. So when you surrender to Krishna, whatever desire you have, your spiritual desires, Krishna will fulfill. Every desire of yours can get fulfilled, your spiritual desires, because devotees only desire spiritually. Everything can get fulfilled when you surrender to Krishna. And there are so many examples like that. Unlimited examples. A pure devotee desires something, it is done. Right? Srila Prabhupada, he had great desire that in Mayapur there should be a huge temple. We can see that happening now. Srila Prabhupada, the Juhu land, there were so many issues in this Bombay land. Prabhupada wanted a huge temple. The temple is there now. So if you become a pure devotee of Krishna and surrender to Krishna, whatever desire we have, Krishna will definitely fulfill it. Right? Definitely Krishna will fulfill it. Therefore in the Gita, Krishna says, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. My dear Arjuna, you declare that my devotees will never perish. So these are certain reasons why we need to surrender to Krishna. I'm just going back just to recap everything. So what is the inspiration? Why we need to surrender to Krishna? These are the reasons. First is, by surrendering to Krishna, we will get relief from all the suffering of material existence. Surrendering to Krishna, we will go back to the spiritual world. And the inspiration to surrender to Krishna more and more will come when you understand how Krishna is a person who has such a beautiful heart. He is the most loving personality in this world. So Krishna provides shelter to his devotees. He will purify our hearts of all sinful reactions. And we surrender to Krishna, we can actually participate in all these pastimes. Right? So these pastimes are just not to be heard and heard and forget it. These pastimes, why does Krishna do all these pastimes? Krishna is eating food with his friends, Krishna is doing all these pastimes to tell all of us that if we go back to him, if we surrender to him, this is what we can get. When Krishna was eating food with his friends like this, Brahmaji and all the demigods were looking at this. And Brahmaji says, what fortune these friends of Krishna have done, that they are sitting with Krishna, looking at him face to face and eating with him. So this kind of loving reciprocation Krishna wants to experience with all of us. Therefore, he is calling us to the spiritual world by the process of surrender. If you surrender to Krishna, he will offer himself to such a devotee and he will fulfill all spiritual desires we have. Now, in this shloka, Krishna uses the word Mam Ekam. So Mam Ekam means only me. Why does Krishna say Mam Ekam? Because if you may say, I am surrendering to Krishna 50% and then 50% I have faith in this person, that person, in this thing, that thing, then you will get that much only. So Krishna is saying, try to have more and more faith in me. Mam Ekam. If you have faith in Krishna, if you surrender to Krishna, we don't have to do so many things and expect so many things from so many people. Because ultimately, even all the demigods are all servants of Krishna. They are also devotees of Krishna. So if we just surrender to Krishna, everything is done. Yata taror moola nishechena truptyanti skanda bhujopashaka. Bhagavatam says, if you water the root of a tree, every part of the tree gets water, nourishment. Similarly, if you water Krishna, or bhakti, or love, or devotion, or sincerity, everything if you offer to Krishna, everyone will be happy, nothing to worry. So we have to try to focus more and more on Krishna. Srila Prabhupada has established this society and called this society International Society for Krishna Consciousness. What does this mean? It means that our Chetana, our heart, our consciousness, there are so many things that we think about, meditate on. We have to try to replace all these thoughts and subject matter more and more with Krishna. That is the point. So now, when Krishna, if you see the translation, Prabhupada says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. What does the word just mean? When do you use the word just in English? Urgency, yeah. Urgency, or when people hesitate to do something, you say just, isn't it? Like, can you give me some examples in English where do you use the word just?
Just help.
Huh?
Just help me. You can ask me something for
Yeah, can you just help me? Yeah. Just do it. What does just do it mean? We are not supposed to just do everything other than bhakti. But what does just do it mean? Don't think. Like someone, who wants to learn swimming is thinking jump or not jump. So you tell him just jump. Right? Don't think too much. ज़्यादा सोचो मत. Just do it. Right? So the point is, for the things of this world, that slogan of just do it is there. Wrong things, everyone wants to just do it. Right? But for the right thing, people start to hesitate. Program को जाऊं, नहीं जाऊं, भक्तों के पास जाऊं, नहीं जाऊं. That hesitancy is there. So therefore, Krishna knows what is there in our hearts. So Krishna is saying, just do it. ज़्यादा सोचो मत. माला बढ़ाना है कि नहीं, करूं कि नहीं करूं. भगवान उससे क्या बोल रहे हैं? Just do it. ज़्यादा सोचो मत. You keep thinking ना unlimitedly, then नहीं होने वाला है. Just do it. And what does the word just also means? When that inspiration comes, do it. Right? तो कभी कभी क्या होता है, we want to do, हमको लगता है करें कहीं नहीं करें, कल करेंगे, पर कल वो इंस्पिरेशन मर जाएगा. And inspiration will die. So in spiritual life, when you get that inspiration, don't postpone. Postpone मत करना अगले दिन के लिए. अगला दिन वो इंस्पिरेशन चला जाएगा, मर जाएगा. So just do it. As soon as you get that inspiration, बस निकलो. भगवान ने प्रेरणा दिया, निकलो. Bhagavatam first canto has this beautiful story. We all know that Dhritarashtra, he was so attached to that throne and the kingdom. He didn't want to go away only. After the war also, his sons died. Still he is in Hastinapur. Vidura comes and tells Dhritarashtra, Baba, look at your face, you have become so old. Just get out of this place, go to the forest. So Dhritarashtra is telling Vidura, now it is night. Tomorrow morning, let Yudhishthir come, I will discuss with him and then we will do. Vidura says, nothing doing. Nothing doing. In your entire life, you have not got an inspiration to detach. Now you have got it. Tomorrow morning, it will not be there. Leave right away. If you wait for Yudhishthir, Yudhishthir will convince you, don't go. And then you listen to him. Abhi niklo. So in the night, without telling anyone, Vidura took Dhritarashtra and they went to the forest. So the point is, if you postponed it, like in this month we distribute Bhagavad Gitas. Many times we have this experience, when you go to a house, you knock a door and you show someone a Gita. Husband or wife, either one of them will come, they will see the Gita. Might be they are inspired. They will, if they tell you that I will go inside and I will consult my partner and come back to you, most probably they are not going to buy it. They are inspired at that point. As soon as they go inside, ulta part koi aur padayega, khatam hoga. So if you catch them, they got that inspiration, sell it to them at that point. Because once they go inside, it's going to go away. So this is the meaning of the word surrender. So now, this was actually part 1 of the lecture of why to surrender to Krishna. Now this is part 2, how to surrender to Krishna. Should we go through this also quickly? If you all don't have the Gita with you all, but you all can go back. This is homework for all of you. If you see this verse 18.66, if you see the purport of it, Prabhupada has explained what does surrender mean, how to surrender. So Prabhupada is writing here in Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is written by Srila Sanatan Goswami. He explains what surrender means. See, anyone can say, मैंने भी कृष्ण का सरेंडर लिया है, आई एम ऑल्सो सरेंडर, मैंने भी कृष्ण का आश्रय लिया है, मैं भी कृष्ण का भक्त हूं, कोई भी बोल सकता है कि नहीं? But if you have surrendered to Krishna, these 6 things should be in your life. These 6 qualities, these 6 symptoms, limbs of surrender. So what are these? The verse says, Anukulyasya sankalpah, Pratikulyasya varjanam, रक्षति इति विश्वासो गोपतृत्ते वर्णम तथा आत्मनिक्षेप कार्पण्ये षड्विधा शरणागति. Sharanagati is surrender. Shadvida means 6 types of your, or 6 aspects of, 6 limbs of surrender. 6 things. What are the 6 things? I will explain to you. The first one is called Anukulyasya Sankalpa. Sankalpa means to take a vow. If you have surrendered to Krishna, or if you want to surrender to Krishna, you take a vow to do 6 things that are favorable to bhakti. What are the 6 things favorable to bhakti? That is also explained by Srila Rupa Goswami. Utsaha Nishchaya Dhairyat Tattat Karma Pravartanat Sangatyaga Sato Vritte Shadbir Bhakti Prasiddhati. So there are 6 things that are favorable to bhakti. The first is called, I can speak long on this, but I will cut it short. The first thing is called Utsahat, enthusiasm. Okay? So one thing, most important thing that is favorable to bhakti is to be enthusiastic. Whatever happens, even if you don't feel like doing it, do it. Just do it. Right? है कि नहीं? बहुत बार माला हाथ में लेके हम सोचते रहते हैं करें कि नहीं करें, आज तो मूड नहीं है, बस करो. उत्साह का, even if you are faking enthusiasm, fake it. Just do it. Just act enthusiastic. The second, I can tell a lot of stories on this, but I'll not get into it. The second principle is called Nishchaya, confidence. Confidence, yeah, determination. Being very determined. On the path of bhakti, there has to be a certain sense of determination. कुछ भी हो जाए, I have taken a vow to chant, I have taken a vow to come to satsangs, I have taken a vow to serve, to study Srila Prabhupada books, कुछ भी हो जाए, I will do it. जैसा मिलिट्री में व्यक्ति होता है, मिलिट्री का ट्रेनिंग है, सुबह उठ के भागना पड़ता है, बीमार भी होना भागना ही पड़ता है. आप जाके आपके कमांडर को बोलेगे ना बीमार हूँ, आपका 10 एवरीडे 10 सर्कल मारेंगे, आप बीमार बोलेंगे तो 20 सर्कल मारवाएंगे. You have to run 20 times more. So the point is, just like in military life, you just do it with faith, with determination. Similarly, in spiritual life, you have to have confidence. Day in, day out, you have to keep doing it. Nishchayat and then Dhairyat. Dhairyat means patient. We have to be enthusiastic, we have to be determined. Simultaneously, we have to be patient in the process. Krishna's mercy will come when he wants to give. Till then, we have to be a little patient. If we don't remain patient, हमको लगता है अरे एक प्रोसेस काम नहीं कर रहा है, कहीं और जाएंगे, then you're not going to get what you're going to get. Right? So Krishna tests his devotees. You have to stick to the process. You have to be patient. Just like a mango, for the mango to ripe, it has to be with the tree, connected to the tree. So similarly, you have to be a little patient in spiritual life. And then the next principle that is favorable is called Tattat Karma Pravartana. That means following rules that are favorable. So in spiritual life, we have certain do's and don'ts. We give up certain wrong things, intoxication, meat eating, gambling, like that. And we have certain do's, chanting Hare Krishna, reading books. Like we have been discussing all these topics now. The power of prasadam, the power of books, the power of chanting, the power of association. All the things that are good, you keep repeating again and again. Repeat. So, we come from a Sharon ferry. While coming to the ferry, there's one restaurant there. You have and they have like a very famous, a little different way of inspiring people to come in the restaurant. So in that restaurant, there is food and drinks, wine and everything. So in the restaurant, the board is there. Eat, drink, repeat. People want that. Eat, drink, repeat. Keep doing that. I was thinking we also can have a certain mantra like that. Right? Chant Hare Krishna, have prasadam, read books, repeat. Keep doing it. You have to keep repeating it. They also are repeating it. Right? How many types of enjoyment they can have? Same thing, eating, drinking, this, that. They keep repeating it in different ways. So you also keep repeating it. Tat tat karma pravartanat. And then sanga tyagat. Sanga tyagat means give up wrong association. This is something that's very important. Because if you are surrendering to Krishna, you can't say I'm a devotee of Krishna and then you hang around with all materialistic people. Not a sign. If you are a sincere devotee of Krishna, you will cut off. Slowly you will cut off. Because it becomes very difficult to focus. It will become difficult. Because you will come to a satsang, you will get inspired in a certain way. You will hang around with them and they will inspire you in a different way. And ultimately we are not that strong that we will be able to continue. We will be influenced. We will be influenced. So Sangha Tyaga and then Sato Vritte. Give up association of materialistic people and associate with great saintly people. So if you want to become saintly, you have to associate with saints. If you want to become materialistic, you associate with materialistic people. So this is another very important principle of surrender. Associating more and more with sadhus. Sato Vritti. So this is the first limb of surrender. Anukulyasya sankalpa. 6 things we saw. The next limb of surrender is Pratikulyasya varjanam. What is not good for bhakti, you give up. What are the 6 things unfavorable for bhakti? Rupa Goswami explains, Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha lolyamcha shadbir bhakti vinashyati. These 6 things will destroy your bhakti. 6 things will destroy your bhakti. Bhakti, you have to give it up. The first is Atyahara, over collection. Over collecting anything in this world, whether it is money, things, food, whatever it is, over collection is dangerous. Because as soon as there is over collection, you become lazy, you become greedy, you can't focus. There is no end to.
You want to collect more.
You want to collect more. Okay. Whatever your bank account is, no one is satisfied. I don't think so. Even Mukesh Ambani is satisfied that way. He wants to keep increasing it. Right? There's no end to how much you can increase. Millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, quadrillionaire, you can keep going on and on. So you have to put a cap somewhere. कहीं तो ढक्कन लगाना पड़ेगा, है कि नहीं? बस इतना बस. So over collection करते रहेंगे तो भक्ति कहाँ करेंगे? So this is very dangerous. We have to try to reduce. Second is prayas, excessive endeavor. गधे की तरह मेहनत करना. गधा का पिक्चर है ना इधर. गधे की तरह मेहनत करना कितना आवश्यक नहीं है. अब कितना भी मेहनत करो, खाने वाले हैं 2 चपाती दाल, उसका कैपेसिटी बढ़ने वाला है क्या? That much only. So we have definitely we have to endeavor for material life, but not at the cost of spiritual life. इतना मेहनत करेंगे पैसा कमाने के लिए, भक्ति के लिए समय नहीं, माला के लिए समय नहीं. What is the point? So you endeavor what is needed. The verse from Bhagavatam says, Kamasya nendriya priti labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa yascheha karmabhi. So Bhagavatam verse says, endeavor for what is needed. जो जरूरत है उसके लिए मेहनत करो, नहीं तो इच्छाओं का अंत ही नहीं है. There is no end to desires. So this is the second thing you have to give up. Atyahara prayas. Third thing that is dangerous to bhakti is prajalpa, gossip. इधर उधर की बातें करना बहुत डेंजरस है. थोड़ा टंग पे कंट्रोल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि नहीं? एनर्जी गेट ड्रेन्ड आउट, एनर्जी ड्रेन होता है. थोड़ा उस पर कंट्रोल रखना. जितना जरूरत है बात करना, ज्यादा से ज्यादा कृष्ण के बारे में, हरिनाम के बारे में, हरिनाम का जप करता रहना. द नेक्स्ट थिंग दैट इज डेंजरस फॉर भक्ति इज नियम अग्रह या नियम आग्रह. नियम आग्रह मीन्स जस्ट फॉलोइंग द रूल्स फॉर द सेक ऑफ फॉलोइंग. बस करना है, माला करना है, बस करते रहता है. किसके लिए कर रहे हैं पता नहीं, भक्ति है ही नहीं. We are not putting our heart in it. We are just doing it for the sake of doing it. Or we are not concerned with rules only. हमको लगता है कुछ भी करो चलेगा, ये भी चलेगा, वो भी चलेगा. Carefree type life. So these are very dangerous. So that means you have to follow rules, knowing why you are doing what you are doing, not blind following. And then Jana Sangha, we have to give up association of non-devotees. So here you can see this is a story from Ramayana. Which story this is? Kai. Favorite character na? Kai and Mantra. है कि नहीं? Kaikeyi was actually a great devotee of Lord Ram. She loved Ram more than her son Bharat. But mantra entered her life and she poisoned her mind and she became an enemy of Ram. Why? Because mantra had this poison in her. So similarly, all of us, we are devotees of God, but when we associate with non-devotees, they will poison. They will put that poison. ISKCON mat jao, ye mat karo, wo mat karo. Right? They will put all this poison. So, Jana Sangha, give up association of non-devotee. And then law of greed. बहुत ज्यादा लोभ अच्छा नहीं है, ठीक है ना? ये चित्र में देखो, व्यक्ति इतना खा रहा है तो दूसरे व्यक्ति को थोड़ा ही दे रहा है. So excessive greed, ज्यादा चाहिए, ज्यादा चाहिए, ज्यादा चाहिए. Right? This greed also we should give up. We should try to be a little more satisfied. So these 6 things if we give up, we are doing the next step of surrender. The third step of surrender is called Rakshati iti Vishwaso. Having faith that Krishna will protect. Krishna will protect. Why will Krishna not protect? I told you, right? Demons who surrendered, demons who fought with Krishna and whom Krishna killed, Krishna delivered them. If you are a devotee of Krishna, why Krishna will not protect? It may take time, Krishna's protection might come in a different way, but we have to have faith. Rakshati iti Vishwaso. We have to have faith that Krishna will protect. And if we find in Mahabharata, in Ramayana, so many stories where Krishna actually protected his devotees. Draupadi, she was being dislodged, Krishna came there. So many places. Parikshit, when he was about to be killed in the womb, Krishna came there. Rakshati iti Vishwaso. Having faith that Krishna will protect. And then Gopatriptve Varanam Tata. Krishna not only protects but Krishna provides. जो जरूरत है भगवान देंगे, है कि नहीं? So many living entities in this world. कितने सारे प्राणियां हैं, honeybees है, चींटी है, अलग अलग प्राणियां हैं. उन सबको भगवान देख रहे हैं ना. कोई काम को जाता है क्या? नहीं, भगवान देख रहे हैं उन सबका. भगवान उन सबका देख रहे हैं. कृष्णा इज टेकिंग केयर ऑफ ऑल ऑफ देम. दे आर नॉट इवन डूइंग भक्ति. भक्ति कर रहे हैं क्या वो लोग? भक्ति नहीं कर रहे हैं. कृष्ण भगवान उनका ख्याल रख रहे हैं. तो अगर आप भक्ति करेंगे तो कृष्ण ख्याल क्यों नहीं रखेंगे? कृष्णा विल प्रोवाइड. जो जरूरत है भगवान देंगे. आपके पास स्वयं चल के आएगा अगर हमारा वो विश्वास होगा तो. It will come automatically into our life. Atma Nikshep. This is the 5th, second last limb of surrender. Atma Nikshep. Atma Nikshep means surrendering completely. Body, mind, words, Atma, you surrender to Krishna. The best example of Atma Nikshep is Bali Maharaj. You know the story of Bali? Bali, he became the king of the entire 3 worlds. He conquered Indra, became the king of Swargalok also. And Lord Krishna as Vaman Dev goes to Bali. And he tells Bali, give me 3 steps of land. And Bali says, okay, I will give you. So Lord Vamana becomes so big, in 2 steps, he takes over the entire world. And Lord Vaman says, where do I keep the 3rd step? Bali says, keep it on my head. So Bali gives up his kingdom also. He gives himself also. This is called Atma Nivedana, Atma Nikshep. And because Bali surrendered himself also to Krishna, to Vamana, Lord Vamandev, what did he give Bali? He gave the spiritual world to Bali for sure. He took him to the spiritual world. But he also gave a new planet to Bali Maharaj, Sutalok. And Vamandev becomes the security guard in Sutalok. So the point is, when you surrender to Krishna, you are never a loser. You will gain a lot. So surrendering fully to Krishna, we should not hesitate. Whenever the opportunity comes, we should be very eager to surrender. And then the 6th very important principle of surrender is Karpanyam. Karpanyam means humility, humbleness. So a sincere surrendered devotee of Krishna will be humble. How do you recognize a surrendered devotee? By his humility. This is one of the benchmarks of a sincere surrender devotee. So being humble, right? If you're proud, then you're not a devotee of Krishna. You have not understood what bhakti means. So being very, very humble, being very meek, submissive, these are the qualities. So if you develop these 6 qualities, or we are trying to develop these 6 qualities, then we are actually surrendering to Krishna. And if we are able to do that day in, day out, that repeat word, if you keep doing this, anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam, rakshati iti vishwaso, gopatatve varanam tata, atmanikshepa karpanye. Follow these 6 things every day, daily, to surrender to Krishna. And if you are following the process of surrender to Krishna, we can experience all those things that are waiting for us. Freedom from miseries, going to the spiritual world, experiencing Krishna's love, freedom from sinful reactions, desires fulfilled, everything we can actually experience. So thank you very much. So on the occasion of Gita Jayanti, we can all pray to Lord Krishna that we can try to sincerely follow these teachings of Gita. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any questions, any comments? At cross mark.